Yes, you know what time it is. It's time for that May 2025 security patch, and that means the latest Pixel update bulletin. So what's fixed, what's new, what do you need to know? Let's get into it. Before then though, if you want more information on all Pixel and Android updates, stick around by slapping that little subscribe button and joining a growing team. I owe you one. Cheers. So there's something really important to note right up front here, and I want to get this out of the way early. It's a bit of a PSA. This OTA is heading out to all devices from the Pixel 6 right through to the Pixel 9 series. You probably knew that already. If though you have the Pixel 6 through to the Pixel 8, that does include the 6A, the 7A and the 8A. This new OTA includes a bootloader update that updates the anti-rollback version of the bootloader. I know that sounds really confusing, but this means you will not be able to go back to an older version of Android once you install this OTA on your phone. So if you want to downgrade from Android 15, you'll not be able to do so unless you flash the bootloader by sideloading the full OTA image. Basically, after this May patch is installed and successfully booted back up, Android 15 will be chilling in the inactive slot. This is part of seamless updates. It basically means that you can do things a lot quicker and install those updates without having to fully restart your phone every single time. In the inactive slot, well, it's got the older bootloader version and the anti-rollback version hasn't been bumped up, which is where these problems arise. If you then flash the active slot with a build that decides to throw a tantrum and not boot, basically the seamless update fallback kicks in and the device will try to boot from that inactive slot, which is out of date, and since it is rocking that older bootloader, your device is, well, for all intents and purposes, is brick. So be careful if you are installing this. To dodge this bullet, if you are flashing an affected Pixel device, like I say, 6 right through to the 8 series, with this May update, or even a newer update in future, if you're watching this in a future time, basically you got to flash that bootloader partition in the inactive slot to prevent this from happening. Do this after you've successfully updated and booted into the Android 15 May 2025 patch at least once though. Conversely, if you don't want to do this to effectively lock you into Android 15 builds, or if you do this and it does lock you into them, just don't flash or install this OTA unless you're happy to go forward with these builds on your Pixel 6 and newer. If you have a Pixel 9, this doesn't seem to affect you, at least according to the actual notes on this. So yeah, you're all good. You can do what you need to do. So that's a bit of a safety PSA. Just be aware that you won't be able to go back to a really old build. Not sure why you want to do that, but it's up to you. I know a lot of custom ROMs use older builds, and you may want to do that if you are someone who likes tinkering with your phone. You may be able to roll back using the Android Flash tool in future though. I'm not actually so sure. So check that out if you do have major problems on your phone. I do think it's a really great resource and a great toolbox for Pixel users and specifically Pixel updates. Now that's out of the way, what does this patch actually include beyond this anti-rollback measure closing some of those vulnerability loopholes? Well, this is a fairly small update. The first noted fix is for poor microphone recording quality in certain applications running on your phone. Effectively, the patch should address some audio capture issues that might affect how your voice or the sound quality of your voice is captured by your onboard microphones. It doesn't specify whether Bluetooth headsets are affected here, so we'll assume it's just the onboard phone microphone rather than external audio interfaces. Basically, in some applications like WhatsApp, recording output could be a little bit lower than you probably expected, or at least it was lower than it was in previous updates. I can't say I've actually seen this as someone who does actually record a lot of voice notes in WhatsApp, but at least this has been noted and addressed with the OTA. One problem I have seen though is if you've had problems pairing or connecting to Bluetooth smartwatches, the May patch also resolves any potential issues you may have there. I've had loads of pairing problems with my OnePlus Watch 3. It's just really buggy with the update on Pixel phones, especially if you're moving from a previously paired phone. That's where I see it the most often. It seems to be fixed here, so that's another good thing to see if you do have a lot of smartwatches, you want to move between devices as well. The final noted fix in the changelog is a bug whereby secondary languages might show or translate the quick settings panel, despite actually being technically inactive. If you are bilingual, this probably wasn't going to be much of a problem for you, but for the sake of consistency, it's a bug that needed to be resolved, and it is here, so that means you should have a consistent language experience with the quick settings and the rest of your device. And while we're talking about language, I believe that there was a bug that I think it has been fixed. Again, I switch between US and UK English all the time. I technically think this is correct. I speak British English, so certain toggles on your phones within the quick settings may be named incorrectly for your specific region. So you might see torch instead of flashlight or aeroplane mode rather than airplane mode. This is just a little bit of a UI wrangle, and well, I personally believe that isn't actually a bug, and I think you should be using the former rather than latter terminology. It is fixed here as well. So yes, you continue to be wrong about that, my American friends out there. it is torch and it is airplane mode. So as I say, this OTA is rolling out right now. It's not that heavy, it's well under a gigabyte. I would implore you to sideload or flash the OTA manually. That's the method I prefer all the time, but you can always check by going to settings, system update, and hitting that check update button in the bottom right. It should eventually refresh. Sometimes it takes a little while, especially if your phone is just powered on. So this is technically the final Android 15 update as well, so the next major OTA is probably going to be Android 16. That probably explains as well why there aren't so many fixes here for all of those pixels that are eligible to get this OTA and are again going to get eligible for Android 16 in the coming weeks. That looks like a small release as well. If you want to know more about that, go check out our deeper dives into all things Android 16, including all of the leaked functionality that still isn't here as of the public developer previews and betas down in the description below. I didn't actually expect Google to do a great deal with the May 2025 patch. I think any major fixes are probably going to be saved for that next big update that we are expecting. There hasn't been too many major complaints as of late, I must admit. Maybe some performance things that could get a little bump, but overall I do think Android 15 has been fairly stable, or at least working as it is intended. Once you do though have the OTA installed on your phone, I do think it's worth checking for the Play system update. As of this video going live, Google hasn't actually yet shared details. This final step isn't automated. You can't just install the OTA and expect it to arrive. You do need to do this manually, as it's technically separate of the monthly patch. To do this, just go to Settings, Security and Privacy, System and Updates, then tap the Google Play System Update option. If you haven't updated or it isn't available right now, it might be grayed out if there isn't anything to download for your phone, but check back at a later date and it should pull down and install any other security stuff your phone needs as a result of running Google Play services. You can also check for the regular monthly OTA from this panel as well. I do think this is a great place to start if you do want to find these and back up any sensitive data if you are someone who wants to downgrade again at a future date. I think it just makes it a really nice one-stop shop to get your phone updated and secure. Let me know though if you have seen any improvement since your phone has installed the May patch. Yes, this is the big sign-off for Android 15. Hopefully the next time I speak to you about a Pixel Update Bulletin, we're expecting or we're going to see Android 16. That next version, which despite being fairly small, I'm genuinely really excited about. I'm always excited about Android releases. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let me know if you've had any problems as well down in the comment sections below. Thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.